Hello and welcome to the film breakdown for Elic Ayomanor. Apologies in advance if that is not pronounced properly, but nonetheless, he is a very exciting receiver I'm excited to talk about here. Big bodied, true X receiver out of Stanford. Was really the entirety of the offense at Stanford there. That 40% dominator rating is obviously insane. Looking like kind of like Colston Loveland stats here, where it was in a really bad passing offense, right? You're getting to a 40% dominator with under 1,000 yards a year. It tells you a lot about what Stanford was working with there, but still impressive nonetheless to dominate the offense. You can see from an efficiency perspective some troubling signs here right out of the gate, primarily being the contested target rate super high. That means he's not creating a lot of separation, or at least getting targeted on a lot of routes where he is not creating a lot of separation. But looking at that in context with the dominator rating kind of tells you what's going on. In addition to the low catch rate, again, not a huge concern there. Part of that is because he's covered on a lot of these. Part of that is because it's really bad quarterback play. A bigger concern when looking at these efficiency metrics would be the missed tackles forced and the yak per rec being super low. What that tells you, obviously, is he's not really a threat after the catch. Much more of a possession-based wide receiver than some of the other X's we've talked about. Guys like, Jaden Higgins or Trey Harris who have some downfield threat to their game, a little bit more pop. Ayomanor is actually, faster than Trey Harris if we're looking at a 40, but he really is more of that big body, possession-focused receiver who can threaten downfield, but really using more of his size and boxing out skills, a la Cortland Sutton. Romeo Dobbs is actually probably my favorite comparison for him in terms of what some of his strengths and weaknesses are. While I'm talking about the strengths and weaknesses, I'll highlight his route running is pretty good. I really like his timing in particular and his stemming of routes, particularly on in-cutting routes. Again, as the X receiver starting from all the way outside, only a 15% slot rate here. Overall, very good hands for the most part, although he does struggle with contested catches, with physicality, especially while going to the ground. You can see he doesn't tuck the ball quickly enough to avoid elbow slaps when falling to the ground can be an issue. But he's a good ball tracker. I think he'll clean up that hand stuff and be an above average ball skills guy in the NFL. Really a big bodied guy, not going to work well out of the slot or on any of these short area quickness routes. Looking like ideally he's going in round two. I could see him falling to round three, but that's kind of the full range of where we see Ayomanor fall, kind of in this third tier of wide receiver prospect in this draft. We're going to start off here with probably the best part of Ayomanor's game, which is his deep route running. Was really good running post and corner routes. Didn't run a whole lot of them, but I thought he excelled at them. And also had some success on 9 routes, though not with quite as much consistency. But let's get an idea of how he moves and how he gets open. So we're going to start off up here, top of the screen. And this is a nice post route here. He didn't often get targeted on these posts, mainly because his quarterback play was honestly awful. However, he did show some proficiency at getting open. So what we'll see here, we'll slow it down just a little bit. He does a good job just slow playing a little bit here, hesitating, and then it's just the hard fake, able to maintain that inside leverage, and really just using his speed, kind of 75th, 80th percentile-ish speed player at his size, all of 6'3", 220 essentially. Really good ability to create separation down the field. No target here. Not too much to analyze there, relatively simple route. Again, we have him on the top of the screen. So another really nice one. Obviously, speed's a big factor here, how he blows by the receiver. But I want to touch on a little bit earlier in the route how he gains this leverage to begin with. Fly by this one. So you can see here he's starting off with outside leverage on this play, right? If you look at where the cornerback is, he's shading him to go outside. What Ayomanor has to do here is he needs to sell some type of inside route in order to get the defender to open up the hips, drop this right foot, and get into his back pedal facing inside towards the quarterback. That'll allow Ayomanor to explode outside. I might just call him AO for the rest of this podcast, or film breakdown rather. So you see what he does is he slow plays, and then it's just that hard left foot, and it's the physicality and explosiveness through this press point. Now he was a little bit inconsistent versus press, if I'm honestly being kind. I thought he struggled there, but he was physical through this like half coverage at the stem to be able to use some hand fighting there, get away down the field, and create a ton of separation at that second level. Solid job dragging his guy for another, 15, 20 at the end of the play. You can see where his strength comes into play. So that was really all about the release. These first two were mostly about the speed. Let's see if we get a little bit more route nuance here, although that's not necessarily his game on these deep routes. There we go. A little bit more complex. Out and up. I like the commitment that he shows here. Really good deception. So again, we'll slow it down for you. It's almost like a two-tiered before the out. So he's going to come off the ball. It's left, right. Slow that down a little bit. He'll come off the ball, and he's already angling out, right? His first step off the ball is coming outside this way. So he's already looks like he's giving up the out, right? But then right around here, he's going to straighten out, and it's that two-tiered break, right? It's the left foot popping out here, and then again here. And now he's fully committed, right? He is fully had that foot in the ground. It's the 90-degree cut, fully turned and faced, really selling this route. What I like to look for is the hands. Oftentimes the hands are giving this away as much as the head and the shoulders do. If the hands are facing up the field with his palms open going this way, you think he might be doing that. Defender bites, and then it's a smooth transition. We'll watch it again in full speed just so we can get a sense of his athleticism. Massive underthrow, by the way. A lot of that on the Stanford tape. Full speed, you can see smooth transition, out and up. At his size, that's pretty good. Watch it again so you can see the catch point here. Massively underthrown. Nothing he could do. Draws the foul. This time he's starting in the slot. Not a huge part of Ayomanor's game. They didn't use him this way as much as they could. He isn't a guy who's going to have, power slot potential because he's really bad after the catch, but doesn't mean he can't do some things. And this time it's a post corner route. Again, it's just the ability of the fluidity to change direction while moving at high speeds. There's not too much nuance or footwork in here. But again, he needs to get to the outside leverage, so he needs to be able to sell his defender that he's going to hit this post that we've seen before, the skinny post, and then go to the out. Now, he's not overcommitting and wasting too much time. The Stanford offensive line was terrible, which is probably one reason why he can't waste too much time. But he's going to be able to just angle in here enough, and you'll see as soon as the defender steps up, right, there's that angle. As soon as the defender opens his gate to run with him, he then puts his foot in the ground, gets this vertical leverage, and you can see how quickly there's that separation that he develops really fast, right? And that's just because he's a flowing runner that's able to maintain his speed and change direction, right? These are just little kind of 45-degree cuts, right? It's here, here, and then here. Nothing really too sharp about it, but he's just able to flow in and out of his movements and create separation on these defenders. Next play here, bottom of the screen. We'll start off going full speed here. It's a stop and go, relatively simple route. Another terrible throw, I will say, that he just can't bring down out of bounds. But let's take a look Deception is definitely a strong point of his game on these double moves. He's probably better at these double moves than actually just running a straight go route. And you can see why here. He's got about 8 yards of space here against this off coverage. And he's going to eat it up really well. And look how well he sells the stop. So it's not just the motion that's going to stop the footwork. It's that at the very end, he turns his entire shoulders around. Right? It's the hips and shoulders that the defenders are trained to watch. Let me get rid of this. This will be distracting. So right there, it's that little turn that makes the defender bite. And then he's gone. Another terrible throw. All right, another time in the slot here. This is where he ran some more of the complex routes, although there was somewhat limited. Simple corner route. It shows his explosiveness getting in and out of the breaks. Again, it's not a sharp break. He doesn't love that 90-degree angle. He's better making, a little bit of a bended break than the sharp breaks. But in this case, on the corner out, obviously you want to be able to do that to get yourself vertical leverage. He doesn't even really need to stack here because the defender really gives it up. But it's a good time to call this route, right? Because he has a lot of space to eat up, and he has outside leverage as all. So he's just got to eat up the space, direct himself inside, and then watch the last two steps. It's nothing exaggerated, right? But you can see his last left-right. Show you one more time. Right around the 35. So right here, right, you can tell already his knee has come inside here, right, which means he's starting to bend out this way. And now this left foot went from here to here, right? He's starting to run this post. It's the hard right jab that gets this defender. You can see he's all the way forward on his left foot. And now the defender is completely flailing his arms at him, whiffs at him, was trying to basically tackle him to prevent the big play. I'll show it to you one more time in full speed. Also, good ball track here, I should add, which we don't get to see a lot because the passes are usually so bad, but a good one here to bring this one in. Just change of direction at high speeds at his size is really nice. Now let's touch on some of these intermediate routes where for a guy like AO is a place where he really needs to succeed, needs to get open against both man and zone coverage in this situation in order to be a guy who's going to earn a lot of targets at the next level. So let's see how this goes for him. Bottom of the screen against off coverage. It's that deception that we see again and the really sudden breaks that he can make. Quick footwork, exaggerated breaks to get defenders to bite, and then quick burst out of it. So what I like here is that a lot of receivers really forget that you need to sell the slant in order for the sluggo to work, and it's not just selling this part of the slant, right, and getting them to commit here. You need to act like, okay, if I'm running a slant, I need to create the burst here, and you'll see how AO does that. Where he comes off the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step slant, hard left foot. He's not getting a ton of bend in that stem, like a guy like Harris, for instance. Not to mention, some of the smaller, like Golden types are going to get a lot more bend in that. But it's not awful there. Enough to go commit inside. You can see how the defender reacts as soon as he throws that hard left foot. So, count the steps. It's on the 5th step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the defender jumps all over it. He's like, I knew it. Got inside leverage. I'm going to cut him off. And then, nope, hard right foot. So it's the ability to transfer his weight, which is something AO does really well for a guy of his size, is that weight transfer at speed. So he transfers the weight from this hard left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? It's just that 2 little steps in between, almost like a hop, that gets him wide open. We'll watch it one more time at top speed so you can see what it looks like to defend. Really shifty stuff there from a guy from an X like that. Obviously not his fault. This throw was not close. What else is new? All right, next play, once again against off coverage, bottom of the screen. It's just showing his shiftiness once again, his ability out of breaks. He always wants to eat up this space, get on the toes of the corner. And he doesn't really overcommit himself, right? Like, once again, he's not going to make these really sharp cuts. He's not going to come here, put his right foot in the ground, stick, and go here. It's going to be more of a drift. That's a little bit what he does. Rounds the cuts a little bit, which isn't perfect, but if you can match that with physicality and burst, it can still work. Next play we got him bottom of the screen here. Once again against off coverage. Let's see how he eats it up. So this is an okay route. Like, he manages to get open, but he's leaving a little bit to be desired here once again. If you've watched the Trey Harris film breakdown, compare this to what Harris does, you can see a big difference. This looks like a 9-step curl, give or take. It's a really good deceleration. That's something he is good at. But there's no real acceleration step beforehand to sell the go. So it's not creating that much separation, even though his speed should be a threat. Like, all of his steps leading up to the curl are basically like the same speed, same distance. So it's not really faking any acceleration. The last step right here is a little bit extended, but really it's just using his deceleration, assuming he's better at that than the defender, and does a good job coming back to the ball, making a strong catch. It's a good route, it's a win, but it's nothing crazy special there. Once again, his ability to break down is shown here. This really displays what type of athlete he is and what type of athlete he is not. I mentioned before that he really prefers, or rather tends to round his curls rather than round his stems rather than make them really sharp, that 90-degree angle. The reason is because when he goes here and plants this right foot, he's not going to get great angle. He's not going to get great body bend on that. Just isn't that flexible of a dipper. Instead, what he can do though is he can come to almost a jump stop, this little hesitation, and use his deceleration and acceleration ability to create that separation and to use that to change direction at the 90-degree angle. So rather than the hard right foot plant here, he's going to come to almost a stop and then burst out of it, and that's how he's going to create separation on the dig route. In general, I thought he was very good at the dig. I thought it was probably the best route that he runs. So he was at the top of the screen there. Again, it's a no target throw. Stanford is a tough watch in a lot of ways, but you can see up here it's going to be a similar strength. Again, not too much nuance in the route, but he's just going to be able to decelerate faster than the defender. I liked it a little bit here. We did see a bit more of a route combo in terms of the angle that he takes. You'll see it's 5 steps, I believe, and then he's going to angle it upfield to almost be a go in a corner. What that shows, not a corner, sorry, just a go over the top where he's trying to get outside vertical. What that does is it really convinces the D-back that he's going to push this downfield. So you'll see right around here, right there. You see he shifted his route. He's going up here, up here, up here, and now here, right? And what the D-back is thinking is, oh, now he's trying to go over the top of me. D-back instantly opens up his stride, and that's where the deceleration comes in. Defensive back is still turning. He's completely spun around. He's still turning around when Ayomanor is already coming back to where the football could be. So another good example of how that deceleration ability really works for him. This time we got him, bottom of the screen. Looks like he's going to run across the field here, and once again, it's just that hard decel. Really hard to tell here. This is where he doesn't tip his routes very well. Doesn't tip them at all, really. It's that hard step that he made right here with the left foot, and then this hard plant with the right. Defender is totally lost. He can put his right foot in here, come across. He can go up here, do a little bit of a crosser post. He can even extend out here. Instead, it's just a curl. You can see the defender was about to turn his hips and open it up to go out and chase that corner route. He had absolutely no idea. If you just watch the defender's hips and how poor of a job he does mirroring AO, especially at top speed, we'll watch it here. It's just no chance. Really sudden movements there, again, out of a non-X position that I wish he was able to do more. Bottom of the screen here, again, super off coverage once again. Similar type of route, right? Where he's able to present something of a triple threat option. Comes off the football, looks like he's running this post. Hard right foot, and now he's got really the whole world at his fingertips. He can keep going, hit this post. There's a concern here. Defender knows he has no safety over the top. He can come across here for this crosser. So the defender's like, I'm in sprint mode. I got to open up my gate, catch up to him. I'm already behind. So when AO stops, there's no way the defender can stop and turn around and get there in time. It's already a 5 yards of separation. Great work here coming back to the football, right? Because if he just stayed where he was, you'd see the defender would get on him by then and be able to maybe get his hand in there to knock the ball loose. Instead, he comes back to the football really well, gives him a chance to make a move after the catch. Not able to do it. That's not the strength of his game, but still a really nice pass prep. Let's move on now to some of the short route game from AO. Not really a strength of his necessarily. The short area quickness is an issue with him. Not the most agile guy, but he does run a really nice curl and comeback, as we saw already. Slant, pretty damn good as well, in particular because of his ability to use his body, use some of that burst that we've already seen, the suddenness out of breaks, to create the leverage that he needs. Gets a ton of separation here. Really, this is bad defense. I don't know what the defender's doing here. He has inside leverage, right? He's kind of impressed, but he's not obviously going to actually make any contact or any attempt to do anything about it. The defender just starts backing up here. All AO does is have to get inside there. Nothing too special, but it's some nice quick separation from an outside position. So we'll show it. Next one here, let's see if we can get a little more footwork going. Really nice one. This is a double curl or stacked curl. We see he needs to get inside leverage because in order for this curl to work. And he does it by starting out really early in the route with these outside steps, right? The first move is going outside. That looks like it could be an out, could be a go. That hard left foot, now he's got inside leverage. The defender is on his heels completely. And now he's got to push downfield because he's got to create separation for the curl. Otherwise, the defender will just trail and sneak in here. Pushes hard, and then it's a hard breakdown. So the ability, we saw it on some of the deep routes. We saw it on some of the intermediate routes, which you could argue this is an intermediate route, but, got to specify them somehow. The ability to throw a little hard leg, change direction slightly, accelerate, and then a hard decel faster than the defender is what makes this play, what makes him get open there. This one's just a nice little zone set. Nothing too fancy here. Overall, AO was left a lot to be desired against zone. Not really fast enough to run away from it, but this time he does a really nice job just sitting in. Not too much to talk about here. Just great job finding space that time. Overall, though, as you can see, not a whole lot of short stuff from AO. It's not the strength of his game. Wasn't asked to do it a whole lot. Take a look at his release package. As a big X, you expect this guy to be able to break press a lot. I'm showing you some of the better plays here. Overall, this is definitely a weakness in his game. We see a lot of traits with AO, but not a lot of translation to the football field necessarily. This is just the burst, right? Defender, I don't know if this was a miscommunication. He thought he would have a safety over the top, but you can see this at full speed. If you don't get your hands on him early, he really can go. That quick body shift and burst was wide open downfield, just didn't get the ball. Once again, you'll have him, this time bottom of the screen against the press. Slow plays it, cuts across the face. It's that same defender. I mean, Colorado's defense, I gotta say, was just awful. Showed up all the time. Other than when he was matched up with Travis Hunter, obviously. Just slow play, hard break, and burst. Simple but effective. Next, we got him up here at the top of the screen. And this is a good job. One of the few times, I mean, running the slant is kind of his strength, but one of the few times he really uses his hands early in the press. I'll slow it down here. You can see the defender really get on him with the double shoulder shove and this swim move immediately. You can see Harris's left arm right here getting on the outside of the defender's left arm. Therefore, Harris's whole body, not Harris, my God, Ayomanor, sorry, just did these back to back. Ayomanor's whole body getting inside of the defender, getting that leverage, pushing the defender on his back foot. Easy catch, easy first down. Again, you're seeing some fight after the catch, but it rarely actually leads to anything. We saw that in the numbers. So that was kind of it for the release package. Not the strength of his game. What is probably my favorite part of his game are his ball skills. They're inconsistent, especially coming down to the ground, but he can make some crazy jump balls and high point catches. So let's get to the ball skills. Really inconsistent here, but certainly flashes some good stuff. Press coverage, bottom of the screen, simple back shoulder, and that is a crazy grab on Travis Hunter's head. Top 5 DB, obviously. Hopefully wide receiver. He tries to establish physicality right around here with the arm extend. Really good job by Hunter getting his head turned as well, but their arms are fully engaged, so Hunter can't get his arms on it. And that is just AO around Hunter's head, securing the ball. A free catch. This is just another one. Don't need to talk much about this. Ridiculous one-handed catch. The ball tracking and the body control here is what really makes this special. Spinning, twisting, leaping, able to get his body in position, on balance, and just an awesome one-handed grab before bringing the second hand up just to secure it. Once again, off press coverage here, we got him going deep. And this one's a really nice ball track and late body adjust, some late hands as well here. You can see this ball isn't awful, but it's a little off target. AO gets his head around right here at that 25-yard line. Completely spins. You can see his back is completely to the upfield here. Makes the twisting catch. I don't love how he kind of used his stomach a little bit. but it's still a really nice adjustment and catch. This is another example where he's adjusting to the football really well. Let's get there. This ball, once again, is outside of his frame. Ayo's running a curl, and to be able to turn around and immediately see the ball and snag that out of the air, that shows how confident his hands are. Just quick hands to be able to react very well to make that type of play. Now we got him at the bottom of the screen here. Once again, it's going to be that back shoulder, and it's the ball tracking. That's the best here. The ball tracking body control is better than like the hands or the high pointing. But you'll see when he looks back to the football, ball's coming in. He almost completely, like he's expecting this ball much more towards the interior of the field, probably looking to make a high point catch around here. Instead, look at this back bend, completely adjusting as he's trying to get this ball to go over the shoulder and land in the breadbasket. Instead, he ends up doing another half spin, catching it, and I love how he secures this through the contest of the defender to go down to the ground. You'll see it again one more time here. The defender gets his hand in there at the end. Strong hands to secure it. Now, this isn't exactly a strength of his game, but Ayo showed a little bit more ability with the ball in his hands than I initially anticipated, and that the statistics might show. He had some ability using his speed and size to break some tackles and get out into space. This is obviously the big one here. Slant destroys the corner, and then a really good job changing his angle and just beating that defensive back with a good stiff arm, and then you can see some of this long speed. Once he gets out into his gate, he can cover a lot of ground. Watch it again. You can see the adjustment here to beat the angle. Pretty bad defense, but still you don't expect a guy of his size to be able to move that well. Nice move to get some quick release off the line, and it's just physicality to break the tackle. And once again, good job finding some space here. You can see on the end of this play, he's not going to make anyone miss in space with any type of juke move, right? Not going to pull out any leg hides, but enough physicality there, and then just finding space. Top of the screen again, just using his body to make the first guy miss. When he has this inside leverage and defenders go high on him, his upper body is really strong. If a defender gets him around the knees, he's probably going to go down, but if they get him around the shoulders like that, he'll generally make him miss or at least fall forward, get some extra yards. This one's a nice one because it shows a little bit more agility with a bit of a leg hide. I really like how, a lot of receivers rather would spin off this, would come back here, do a spin. You could either spin outside or inside. Instead, he basically faces, and then it's a leg hide there. Pretty good job getting out of Hunter's tackle. Hunter's not a bad tackler. And then I really like at the end, you can see the physicality as he carries that guy to the end zone. Now let's touch on some of his weaknesses, of which there are a few. Lack of strengths, honestly, is probably one of his weaknesses, or just kind of the strength of his strengths are not that strong. But let's get to the ball skills that I've been talking about a few times here. Areas that he's just not able to come down with the football, usually losing it late because he doesn't tuck it away. This one's just a concentration drop. It's extended from the frame. It's a quick throw, but you really expect him to make this. It is wide open. Check out the form of his hands here. See if we can identify what the issue is. Not really sure there. It just gets on him a little fast. It's a little bit far in front of him, but for a guy with his length and catch radius, You would expect him to be a more natural hands catcher to be able to make this adjustment and bring it in. Watch it one more time. Yeah, just kind of gets up on him a little bit fast. Here we go against press at the top against Hunter as well. This is a deep ball. Again, just poor tracking here. Usually he's better at ball tracking and particularly his body control, but you can see here he kind of loses sight of the ball. He thought it was going to be placed out in front of him more around here. It is a little bit more to the boundary, but he has so much space. I wouldn't mind him even going out a little bit more just to stack Hunter and make sure Hunter couldn't get back into play. But even more importantly, obviously, just to go and catch the ball, and that's where the ball ends up. You can't say it's an overthrow because he really slows down, right? You can see the change of pace here from Ao. He slows down completely after the ball is in the air, adjusting to it. So it's really just a poor ball track, unable to use late hands like we've seen other players do. Watching it the whole way and just lets it go through his hands. Just a poor play. See if we can find anything from the other angle here. Unsure if his hands were separated or not. We'll see what we can find. Yeah, I mean, it was really the tracking. Like, once he's in this position, it's not his hands, it's too late. The ball is, like, all the way here outside of his body. He just needed to cut his route inside a little bit more and track this ball better. He really lost the flight of it. Right here, he's running along this path. He needs to readjust now and start running along that path, and then it would be a pretty easy high point catch. Unable to do so. Bottom of the screen here, another jump ball. Another example where he just doesn't tuck it away. It's just his hands are not that, I don't know if they're not that big. He measured fine, but they're not that strong, not that natural. You can see here what you want to do when you catch this ball with the defender behind you is you want to catch it with your arms extended so then the defender can't get his hands in there. So arms extended, and then you want to tuck usually here to a place the defender can't get to. Instead, the defender's hands are right in there because his arms aren't extended. He lets it get up completely on his body. And even the good catches he makes, other than like the big one-handed ones, he does let the ball get up on his body a little bit too much. We'll see it from this angle too. Right, like you shouldn't be catching this. He's catching this like, a few inches from his face. If you extended your hands and caught this out here, there's no way the defender would be able to get in there and break it up. Instead, he's backing into the defender, giving him a chance to swipe at the ball. Slot who rep here, fade, 50-50 ball. It's another time where you just show he's not really elite at high pointing. I would love him even to like turn fully and jump here. The ball track isn't bad, right? He's got enough separation tracking there, but this is a really bad sign, right? He's just not able to see when the ball is going to come hit him, and it hits him in the face mask. Like, this is the type of stuff that, like, I mean, he's not Quentin Johnson, right? He can make some good catches, but this is the type of stuff that happens to Quentin Johnson all the time. Just goes completely through the hands, hits him in the face mask. There's no form there. He just, like, kind of flails his hands up. I don't know what his plan was. Like, what's your plan to catch this football? I mean, it does look like interference. Maybe here, I guess his arm is a little stuck there. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because of that. But still, I'd like to see him turn and elevate. Like, he's not leaving the ground and jumping. He's a really good leaper, but he just doesn't use it enough when he's catching it in stride like this. Not good body control. Hits him in the face mask. And that's really not PI. That would have been a really soft PI call. I actually like this zone route a lot. I want to point out here just because we don't see a lot of zone crosses from him. He does a good job right around here, realizing that the defenders are going to be tracking here towards the flat, having to deal with the rollout. 15's trying to get some depth to deal with Ao, but Ao gets more depth. He's going to be wide open. Big area for the quarterback to throw this ball into. Gotta make that catch. I know he's getting hit, but his body is in between the ball and the defender. You gotta make this catch. Once again, let's see if the ball is just not extended here, if it's not protected. So jumps up. Yeah, the ball's getting in on his body. He's not catching it with his hands. You can see it's almost hitting like his wrists and forearms here. Right? Like it's kind of the hands, but it's not stable. It's bobbling a little bit, and that means when he gets hit, it's an easy pop out. Yeah, he never really had that ball. Let's see at this angle we can see anything. Yeah, just never really brought it in. All right, let's speed through this. Here's another one, 50-50 ball. I mean, he's getting a lot of these, and some of them he's bringing in, but this one, again, it's more lack of physicality on this one that we're going to see here. At this point, like a decent-ish press break. Like, I'm not going to give him really demerits for this. Uses his hands, but again, he's not stacking the defender at all, right? You want to cut him off to be able to get vertical separation. Instead, he really pushes him to the sideline. There's no separation. Fights back to the ball all right, but he tries to high point. I mean, he really just has to stop and come back to the ball. It's the same thing where he's letting the throw dictate it too much. He's just drifting a little too much. If you come back to that football, you'll be able to get some pass interference. I think this is the last play we have here. Another deep route. And it's just another poor ball track, right? He's just not good at readjusting to poorly thrown balls, of which there were a ton of at Stanford, right? But this isn't even that bad of a throw. Let's watch the hands in slow-mo. You got to be able to make this catch. Oh, that was not slow-mo. What we have is a receiver with some upside, but with a lot of flaws. He really is falling into that third round flyer type of range. The more I watch him, unfortunately, the less I like him. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with